and today I will be interviewing a man by the name of Alvin Cullum York. This man was a sergeant, became a sergeant at the time of the First World War, and I will be asking him a few questions. Sir, what did you do? What did you work as before the war?
Before I was a railroad constructor, and then a logger.
Okay. And was there any particular reason for you working in those areas?
Yes, after my father died in 1911, I was the only one fitted to help my mother. My siblings have married and relocated, and I had to help my mum.
And by the research that I did on you, my results tell me that you were a violent alcoholic, and that you tended to get in quite a few fights in saloons, and you got arrested quite a few times around the area. Is that true?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and apparently you changed.
I did. I didn't really want to fight at all. After my violent past, my life was changed completely.
Yeah.
I felt God transformed my life, and I became a pacifist Christian.
Was there any other influence behind that, or was it just a choice, or did anybody else influence you too?
No, not at all. It was just my personal experience with my faith and my beliefs.
Okay, so my results also tell me that you went regularly to church, and that you usually led the hymn singing, and your mother led you to church. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true.
And apparently that is what God used your mother in your life?
My mother was a very strong Christian. She was very stable in her faith in God.
Okay. Very moving story. So how did you join the army?
At the time the World War broke out, every single country was recruiting young men to fight in the army between the ages of 21 to 31, and I had to sign as well.
My research tells me that you answered a question to claiming an exemption from the draft.
Yes, I did.
And what did you answer the question?
I just said I didn't want to fight.
Okay. My research also tells me you weren't very educated, so you could barely write and read. Is that true?
Yes, correct.
How was the whole process of it, the judicial process of your claim?
I was considered eventually fit to fight, and I started military service in Camp Gordon in Georgia.
And apparently there are a few letters that you refused to sign from your past and from your mother.
Yes, that was true.
Okay, and what did the letters that your pastor sent to you, what did they...
Was the documents given, by him, like a seeking to leave from the army due to religious motives.
Okay, and I believe that you didn't want to sign it because you didn't wish to give up.
Yeah, that's correct. I didn't want to give up.
And my research also tells me that you kept some sort of a diary.
Yes, I had a diary where I would record every day of all my goods.
And apparently you were one of the most decorated soldiers in America in World War I. And you had wondrous feats, is that true?
Yes.
And what kind of soldier were you? Where did you what area were you? Cavalry?
I was an infantry soldier. I was enlisted in the United States Army, 70 Company G 328, infantry regiment.
Okay. And I believe there was cavalry?
Yeah, I was in Georgia.
Okay. I believe that you also spoke at length with your company commander, Mr. Captain Edward Courtney Danforth from Augusta, Georgia. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay, and you also enjoyed conversing with your battalion commander, Major Gonzalo Edward Buxton from Providence in Rhode, and apparently he was a devout Christian himself.
Yes, he was. He was citing biblical passages about violence, such as like he that hath no sword let him sell his cloak and buy one. So render unto Caesar. And if my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight.
Okay, and I believe with those biblical passages he cited, he forced you to reconsider your morality, the participation, the morality in your participation in the war.
Yeah, I was convinced by it.
Okay, so he basically forced you to reconsider the option.
It wasn't forcefully, but I realised that was my duty to be there.
And you didn't want to fight, but something made you change your mind.
I had a 10-day leave to visit home, but I, of course, later returned, convinced that it was God's plan for me to go back and fight, and it was a promise that God would keep me safe, and as I commit myself to that mission, and I believe that so hard.
Okay, so in that period of time, God spoke to you and touched your heart deeply.
Yes.
And profoundly.
That's true.
And he comforted you and made you a promise.
And I was confident that I had God's blessing upon me, and His hands protected me all.
So apparently you were awarded the Medal of Honor, and how did that occur?
So during an attack by our own battalion to secure the German position along the Deckerville rail line, north of Château-Chery, France, yeah, on October the 8th of 1918. So that's when I got the medal.
Okay, so securing positions along the Deckerville rail line, north of Château-Chery in France. Ah, yeah, but that must have been quite an adventure. And my research gave me a little extract from your diary, and you said that the Germans got us, and they got us right smart. They just stopped us dead in our tracks. Their machine guns were up there on the heights overlooking us and well hidden, and we couldn't tell for certain where the terrible heavy fire was coming from. And I'm telling you, they were shooting straight. Our boys just went down like the long grass before the mowing machine at home. Our attack just faded out, and there we were, lying down about halfway across the valley, and those German machine guns and the big shells getting us hard. Wow,
Yeah,
that moment was very, very tense.
and the adrenaline was all
Rushing,
high.
yeah, and pumping. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I believe you feel quite proud of that moment. How did you achieve the rank of sergeant that they still nowadays call you?
We had a mission where we worked our way behind the Germans, and we overran the German unit, capturing headquarters, capturing a large group of German soldiers. We were there preparing a counterattack against the US troops, and then as the earliest men were fighting, machine gun suddenly just gun peppered the area, killing about 6 of us and the injuring another 3. So the loss of these 9 people, I was then in charge of the remaining 7 soldiers.
Wow. Okay, so as soon as your men were undercover, you worked your way behind the German machine guns to silence them. And you recalled in your diary, and those machine guns were spitting fire and cutting down the undergrowth all around me, something awful. And the Germans were yelling orders. You never heard such a racket in all of your life. I didn't have time to dodge behind a tree or dive into the bush.
That's true.
As soon as the machine guns opened fire on me, I began to exchange shots with them. Is that what you said?
Yes, I did.
And there were over 30 of them in continuous action, and all you could do was watch the Germans, was touch them off just as fast as you could. And you were a good shooter, were you? You said I was sharp shooting, and all the time I kept yelling at them to come down, and you didn't want to kill any more than you had to, but it was either them It was they or I, and I was giving them the best I had. Wow. And my resources say that as you were working with the machine guns, 6 soldiers came and attacked you with fixed bayonets.
Yes, and I ran out of bullets on my rifle, and then luckily I got the pistol, which I got the pistol I just shot all of them before they got to me.
Wow! And now when we look a bit further back, and we see that you said that God had spoken to you, and that He said to you that He promised you that He would protect you.
That's great. And I saw the hand of God, and something was so quick. It was amazing how quick I acted.
Wow! And I believe this was a very markant moment in your life, and that this was when you really felt the presence of God.
Yeah, it was an unforgettable time. I saw was something, just beautiful there, in spite of the ugliness of the war.
Yeah. And how was the feeling at the moment? How did you feel?
Oh, you normally feel relief, and you feel just lift your eyes and say, well, I know you're there, looking after me, as you promised.
Wow. Amazing. Touching. Okay, and after all that, you were promoted to sergeant and awarded the Medal of Honor and the Croix de Guerre, which was the, I believe, the Cross of War, the French medal, and had quite a few ribbons, and you also earned the same medal but in the Italian version as well, I believe. And your later life, after you returned from war, you returned to America, they wanted to make lots of publicity of you.
Yes, they didn't want any of those things, and of course I was said no. And they also offered me money. They wanted to give me a lot of something like that. Well, after all, I decided to accept money, and I gave them all to charity institutions because I didn't need the money. I knew there was something more special than get the money, which is that wasn't the reason why I went to war.
Okay, you invested in a few charities, and you created a few charities yourself. And there was someone from Hollywood who wanted to record a movie about your life.
Yeah, they eventually changed a little bit to make it more
interesting.
miserable. But it's a lot of things there which is not really.
And they named the movie after you and your rank. They named it Sergeant York. Is it true?
Sergeant York, yeah.
Yeah, and then when World War II broke out again, you enlisted, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you wanted to carry on fighting. And fighting for your country and for the world and for the purpose of that God had given you in your life. And but apparently they had to remove you because you had an illness that incapacitated you of fighting anymore.
Yes.
Oh, and how did you feel when they told you that you had to be removed?
I was really upset and sad that I couldn't carry on. I think I saw it as a mission for me, and suddenly everything was over. I was a bit sad.
And you held it tight in your hands. You didn't want to let go, but you were forced to. Thank you very much, Mr. York, for your time and your patience. Thank you very much, sir. So have a nice time. And everyone, this was Sir Alvin Cullum York, one of the most decorated soldiers in the World War I. Amazing, touching story. There was truly something supernatural behind all this. Thank you for watching.